Choi bars, or shoulder crunch jujigatami, or what do you call it, bro?
Arm saddle.
Arm saddle. I don't care what it's called. All I know is how to do it. And I'm going to tell you guys everything that I do from here. I'm not keeping any freaking secrets, because in reality, there's no secrets out there in the jiu-jitsu these days. And I really want you guys to understand how I make it work, because literally every single competition, I'm going to freaking hit one. Okay, let's look at the actual concept that I like to do. I play it from half butterfly. People play it from everywhere. The reason I play it from half butterfly, when I have my leg on the outside like this, guys, I don't have the ability to pull half it in. All I have the ability is to push. When he starts moving in towards me, I don't have the ability to pull him into my leg. When the foot goes inside the hamstring, I can now use this foot underneath his leg, so when he comes forward, to elevate and start making things difficult for him. And this is where the threat comes from. The foot being on the inside makes my attacks for the Choi bar, or shoulder crunch jujigatami, or arm saddle, really, really strong, okay? Here's what I'm looking for my half butterfly guard. I take my bottom foot, if you just come up half so they can see this, and I hook it with my toes facing downwards on his leg here. Yep. My top leg, I always make sure my knee stays between his clavicle bones, and my arm posts the cross shoulder. When Harper tries to come in now, you can see it's hard. I have this three-pronged frame where when he tries to move forward, it's very, very difficult. Great. The first thing we'll look at is the way I bait the Choi bar. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoop his leg. Now let's look at first if the scoop works. There's two ways I scoop. One is behind the hamstring, and two, which is actually my favorite now, is at the shin, okay? When I scoop here at the hamstring, the one issue I always have is they sprawl their leg back. Yes. When I scoop the shin, when he goes to sprawl back, it's difficult, okay? So first, we have to develop a good threat with this scoop. If I scoop him and he's not worried, he's not gonna give me that big reaction with the crossface, because the way I hit the Choi bar is that when I scoop, they crossface this arm and they get worried, and that's when I switch to the arm and I get a really nice attack. But if this guy's not worried about my threats, he's not gonna do anything. And if I can't do anything with this, it's gonna be useless. So if I take the scoop behind the hamstring, what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna put my hands together, my inside leg is gonna go to the mat, and I'm gonna forward shrimp. I'm not gonna pull him. Go strong here, Harper. Yeah, if I just pull him, even though I can deadlift a lot of weight and I'm bigger than Harper, I actually can't get his knee off the ground. But if I forward shrimp, so my hips go under him and I face my hips to the ceiling, even if Harper goes super strong, I can always move underneath him and take his knee off the ground. Once his knee comes off the floor, I'll grab his leg, come to Ashikarami, and my favorite thing to do here is go reverse X guard, sit up, and I'll double leg him from here. So this is my favorite thing to do from here. Guys, I take a scoop, I forward shrimp, I get the single leg X, reverse X guard, forward shift, and double leg. This is super easy, okay? Second thing I like to do is off this grip here on the shin, is a cross post. And now when he starts coming in towards me, I take my leg across. See what happened? I put my knee on his hip here. My leg goes to the ground and I extend him out that way. Without the shin grip, he can always post his right leg out. Yep, exactly. When I grab his shin, when he tries to do that, he can't. His weight gets elevated in this direction. I invert and I create X legs, where I can now pinch his knees together and I get to cross Ashi, where I'm now attacking his legs. So here I have my cross frame, I reach under, this time I grab the shin. I go cross, extension, invert, and I get to cross Ashi. From here, notice where I am, guys. My hips are nice and high, and I'm in a really good spot to start attacking his legs. I can then either invert all the way through, or I can just knee him in the back of the hamstring and end up on top here. So these are my attacks that make the threat really good. And the thing that made this work for me immediately in competition was the fact that my opponents were always worried about my leg locks. They'd obviously seen my previous matches, seen my matches on this day even, and seen that I leg locked my opponents. So now we have an opponent who's worried about leg locks. That's the first key, in my opinion, on getting good at these submissions, is being able to chain the lower body and the upper body. So I'm here with my partner. What's the classic thing? I go to scoop, and boom, that crossface comes. This now happens to me more than getting the freaking leg lock. From here, I make sure this knee goes across the center line. So I want to keep it between his chin and his clavicle bone on this side, closest to the camera here. So I go to scoop, boom. Look where my knee went. It went here. If my knee gets collapsed here, I'm cooked. If my knee goes outside his hip, I'm also cooked. So where do I put it? Right in that spot. I scoop and I go here. As he goes to cross face me, my elbow goes deep and I make sure my elbow is nice and high, like so. From here, when he goes to pull away, I make sure my elbow goes upwards. If I go like this, he can turn his elbow down and pull out, exactly. That's not what we want. My elbow is gonna come to the ceiling, and I'm actually gonna put my elbow towards his ear. When he goes to pull away here, it's very difficult. I'm now gonna pull and get my knee above his ear, here. If his head goes above my knee, well, now he's just gonna turn his elbow, slip it out, yes. So I go high with my arm, my knee goes high, and now when he goes to pull away, I have a very, very strong leverage on his arm. I'm gonna take my knee, put it on the back of his head, and pummel all the way through. From here, I'm gonna dap him up like this. It's really important. I'm not gonna grab wherever. I make sure I got a good grip of that thumb, because the way I break is I turn his thumb down to the ground, I take a 2-on-1, and my left elbow goes under my hips. Here's the most important thing. I don't just try to break like this. Some people are gonna deal with it, especially in competition. They might not tap. Happened to me against freaking Achilles Rachel. So my left elbow goes under my hip, and this gives me the leverage to now take my hips off the ground and get a strong break moving downwards. So once again, all at normal speed. I'm here in the half butterfly guide. I scoop, boom. See how quick that transition happened, guys? My knee comes nice and high. I turn my knee down to the ground. So this top knee, I don't just close it like this. This is a disaster. Look what I do. I internally rotate my knee like this. So now when half goes posture up, it's difficult. If I go like this, he postures up. Yep, this is easy. I turn my knee down. From here, this foot pummels all the way through, nice and deep. I take 2-on-1, and look at my bottom elbow, under my hip. This gives me great leverage to start breaking, okay? Now, we need follow-ups. My favorite follow-ups by far are 1, triangle, and 2, going to the back. So, this will come up when my partner has the ability to close his hands together. When I go to scoop, the thing that stops his hands coming together is this initial udegatami, or what else is this called? This submission? Cutting armbar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cutting, yeah. Cutting armbar, right? This initial threat is what keeps his arm straight. But there's gonna come times, it happens to me all the time, is I go here, they immediately know what's happening, they turn, they turn their elbow this direction, the other way, and they put their hands together. Yeah, this happens a lot. Okay, when I see this, I have the option of going to the triangle. I'm gonna do everything similar. I'm gonna pummel my leg through, but now things are different. His like body is stuck in place. I need to now free my legs. My legs are currently stuck in place. So my inside foot is gonna go to the mat. And I'm gonna put my heel underneath his shin. I'm gonna scissor my legs by extending my top leg and pulling my bottom leg to get out of that position here. Once we do this, my top leg is gonna start looking to pummel inside his arm, so my shoelaces end up in front of this shoulder on top. So here I'm gonna pummel, I'm gonna move, and I'm gonna get this position here, where you can now see my toes on the outside of his arm. My arm can now come and reach for his hip. I'm building up, and I put my knee, see how my foot's in the perfect place for a triangle here? I put my knee on the back of his head. When he goes to posture up here, it's very difficult. I look the opposite direction, and now I have a high position here, where I can now drop to my right shoulder and lock up the triangle nice and tight. From here, my goal is this: take a 2-on-1 on the far arm and pull. And the reason is, this is now ankle senkaku, where my Achilles tendon attaches to the carotid artery on the far side. The classic triangle, come to your knees, involves my hamstring, where my knee meets my hamstring, at his ear. Ankle senkaku involves my Achilles doing that job. So to finish this, we have a unique method. We go to the secondary arm, we take a 2-on-1, and we hip thrust. And we get a nice tap. Here's the mistake I used to make, and why I failed this in competition before, is your partner puts their arms together, and I was going on the outside here, and they were bracing off this arm to stop me. So nowadays, what I do is I take my elbow, I put it inside their elbow like this, and I come across. Now I've bypassed that frame. When he goes to defend himself, it's impossible. So once again, maybe from this angle now. Here. I scoop, he cross faces. Immediate Udagatami threat. This time he notices, flicks, and goes here. Look what I do here, guys. When I pummel, my bottom arm, grabs my knee, and this hand's gonna go and grab his leg. This is gonna give me the ability to help myself when I move around. My foot goes inside, I use a scissoring action I used before to free my leg, and I start pummeling my shoelaces inside of his neck. And look, I use these two grips to help myself up to my knees, and my shoelaces are in place. From here, I start looking the other direction. I put my knee on the back of his head, and I drop. Notice here, guys, if Hafa postures up, I always have the ability to throw my leg over in this direction and go back to the arm. So being able to chain together the triangle and the armbar are really important. The last thing we'll look at now is going to the back. So my partner's in front of me here in the half butterfly guard. Thanks, bro. I've locked him up in place. I scoop, pull my pinch. I go to attack it, puts his hands together, I pummel. How do we go to the back here? It's easy, guys. This hand's gonna come to my knee. I'm gonna grab his hamstring. I'm gonna free my leg the same way with a scissor action. And this time, all I'm gonna do is this. Up to my knees, I'm gonna post the mat. I'm gonna back step. And now here's the most important thing. If I don't worry about this, he's gonna now posture up and put me back on my back. Exactly. So, my hand closest to his head goes to his far lat muscle. So super important. Why? Because my right leg is the deepest hook. That means I need diagonal control of my left hand. I reach for his lat and I throw my hips to the other side of his body. Here. Now when Hafa goes to posture up, I can stay behind his shoulders and stay on his back. So once again at full speed. Right here, I scoop, he goes. And take his back. And guys, that is the sauce. Please let me know what you guys think. If you have any other questions, if you think I missed something, if you want me to explain something else that you've seen me do or you've seen someone else do, please let me know. But you gotta subscribe, guys, because that's the sauce right there. Right, Hafa?
The sauce.